Hello, and welcome to the Admittedly podcast. My name is Thomas Khalil. I'm the former director of MBA admissions and financial aid for my alma mater, the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. In this podcast, I don't promise easy answers or quick fixes, but I will use my decades of experience to help you achieve your education goals. Now let's get started. Thomas Khalil, and this is another one of our questions of the week. This question comes to us from a student in Colorado, and they say, help. My final semester grades junior year were not what I hoped they'd be. I'm very disappointed, and I'm worried that it's going to severely affect my chances at my dream school. What should I do? This is a great question, right? Because we can't go back in time and fix our junior year. For those of you who are rising juniors, please pay attention to this question. It's very important junior year that you just crush your academics. Do not be proud. Get the tutoring, go to your teachers, ask for advice, really dig in, because bad grades your junior year are really something that are difficult to overcome. I would ask this student specifically, what do we mean by bad grades? For some students, getting an A instead of an A+ is a bad grade. For some students, getting a C is a bad grade. And the other question I would have is, were there mitigating circumstances? Were you ill or injured? Was there a problem in the family? Did something happen to impact your academic experience? And if so, then that's something certainly that we're going to want to address in the additional information essay in the common application, because it is important to provide context, right? I would caution you that my teacher didn't like me. That comes up often as a reason. And, admissions officers have very little sympathy for that, because throughout your life, you're going to be going through life, you're going to meet people, and some people are going to like you and some people aren't. And when you are not in a position of power, when you are dependent on somebody, it's incumbent on you to try and repair that relationship, right? My math teacher is a terrible math teacher. All the other students say so. Well, maybe, but also there are many, many ways for you to learn the material. And it's incumbent on you to, did you go to office hours? Did you make an effort to learn how this teacher teaches? Did you make an effort to understand their rubric? Did you make an effort to really dig in and go above and beyond in the class? And these are all things that can kind of, add up over time and affect your grade. Now, if the grade is in, I would say, if you feel like you have been wronged, right, maybe misgraded, or they missed a paper or a test, then by all means, please reach out to your school, reach out to your teacher. You do it. That's not your parents' job. That's your job. Be polite, be respectful, and inquire, right? It never hurts to ask. The worst that they can say is no. And in that case, it is what it is. You can ask if you can do extra credit. My guess is most teachers will say no, because that's not fair to other students. But certainly having a conversation with them, especially if you're right on the line, let's say between a B+ and an A-, if you have a legitimate case as to why you think you should have picked up a couple extra points, then make that case. Make it clearly, make it maturely, and make it in a way that is respectful to the teacher and their experience and their position. If you are not able to, let's say, fix that grade, what can you do? I think there's a couple of emergency measures. First of all, certainly you want to make sure that you're taking a standardized test and you are crushing that segment of the test. If you did not do well in an English class, make sure you're doing very well in the verbal section of the SAT or the ACT, or the science section of the ACT, or math, the quantitative section. Right? There are ways that you can demonstrate your knowledge. And then if you're talking in your additional information essay about how this was an anomaly, or you bombed a test because you were upset about something that happened in your family or whatever that might be, then there's a better narrative to tell there. And then, of course, you're going to come in senior year, first term, and just dominate your academics and show that this was an anomaly. So I think there are certainly ways to mitigate the damage. It's very rare that you can actually fully mend the damage, but also admissions officers understand that you are human. Life does happen. And so I would say try and articulate a compelling narrative there that is truthful and sincere. And remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, and one bad episode should not derail the rest of your life. Thank you, and we'll look forward to more of your great questions next week. Thank you for joining us today. Please take a moment to subscribe to the Admittedly podcast and download this episode. I welcome you to share your thoughts and questions with me. You can find us on social media at Admittedly Podcast. I look forward to continuing our journey together.